I'm pretty overwhelmed right now, but there's just a lot of people to thank. First of all, my teammates. I wouldn't be here without any of you. And a lot of you came back, and you have busy schedules, and I think that just speaks to the culture of this place. So selfless. Like, I know my number's up there, but it wouldn't be if it wasn't for all of you. So to the ones that were my teammates when I was here, I really appreciate you guys, and I love you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Salesforce Court at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. For those who don't know me, my name is Jackie Maynard, and I'm the AVP of Communications for the Indiana Fever. I'd like to welcome everyone here as we reintroduce to the team that drafted her in 2014, Natasha Howard. Joining Natasha on the stage, we have our head coach, Stephanie White, General Manager and CEO Amber Cox, and President of Basketball and Business Operations Kelly Krostoff. To those on Zoom, if you have a question, just use the raise hand button and we'll call on you on the computer and unmute your line. For those in the room, just raise your hand and we'll bring a microphone around. To get things started, we're going to have opening statements from both Kelly and Amber, and then we'll go to the crowd for questions. So, Kelly, go ahead.
Great, thanks. Appreciate everybody being here as we welcome Natasha back. That was the best hug I've had in a long time whenever she walked through that locker room door. But, this day for us really is about welcoming back a player that we drafted. And Lynn Dunn and I, probably about 11 years ago, went to have a meeting with her at the ACC tournament before we drafted her. And thought this is a tremendous, not only a tremendous player, but a tremendous person. And what she's done the last 9 years in her career has put her in the elite company of many athletes and many players in this league. So, I want to say thank you to Natasha and to her family for coming back to us. Because when a player returns to a place that drafted them, that's special. And she chose us because she could have gone anywhere. And we're thrilled she fits seamlessly. And when Amber and I started talking from the beginning, we started talking about people first. And number one, the person that's sitting next to me is of high integrity, high class, great teammate. Players in this league love her. So welcoming her back, putting her on the floor with our guards. There's a reason why her nickname is Flash. So looking forward to you guys getting to know her, and I'm going to hand it to Amber now.
Thanks, Kelly. So great to see everyone today. I want to welcome Tasha's family, her wife Jaceel, son Prince. So awesome that you all made the trip for this really special day. As Kelly said, I think it was day one when I got this job. Kelly and I were on the phone, and we had two things on our to-do list: re-sign Kelsey Mitchell and bring back Natasha Howard. We have been focused on this day and this moment since the day we started this process. To Kelly's point, the list of accomplishments are long. People say you should have a one-page resume. Natasha cannot have that. Mm-hmm. It is several pages. 3-time champion, 2-time All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player. I mean, again, the list goes on and on and on. But really, Tasha and I spent the last 2 seasons together in Dallas, and I really got a peek behind the curtain as to the person that she is. The professionalism that she has, the way she carries herself, the way she prepares for herself to get ready for a game, but also the teammate that she is. Whether she was on the floor or not, she was mentoring young players. She was giving direction, advice, and was always selfless in everything that she did. And I tell you what, guys, I fell in love with her. I was so excited about the opportunity to bring her here. Natasha, thank you so much for your faith and your trust in us. I think this is going to be an awesome experience, and welcome home.
Thank you. Yep.
All right. We will go to questions in the crowd here. If you have a question, just raise your hand. If you could also state your name, affiliation, who the question is for before you ask. We'll start with Scott.
Scott Agnes, Fieldhouse Files. Hey, Natasha, can you take us through your mindset through this free agency period, and how much do you think back to maybe that preseason game when the Fever invaded Dallas, and that was kind of the start of what we now have experienced?
Just going through the free agency was a lot. It was a handful, but at the end of the day, the way Indiana came at me with everything they promised me and they keeping their promise, they sold me, and I took the bait for it, and I'm happy to be back where I started, and also being back with Coach, so and Kelly, and also Amber as well, bringing her along. It's just a blessing to be back where I started, and also for my family and friends to also see me back where I started at as well. It's just amazing and a grateful feeling to be back in a Indiana Fever jersey.
We're going to go to Tony.
Tony Eastwood, the next. I guess this is for both Natasha and Coach Stephanie White. What do you guys remember about being together all those years ago, you as a coach for her and playing for her?
For me, it's always Coach Steph is always being on my butt about hustling, working hard. Do the little things, because the little things gonna take you a long way. And when I got the minutes that I played my rookie year, I took every advantage of it, and I'm happy to be back next to her, playing with her and her coaching me.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, at that time, the tremendous upside that Natasha had. She was a player who was coming in, playing behind Tamika Catchings, and every day was game day. Her work ethic, she was then, just as she is now, an incredible professional, how she approached the game, how she approached competition daily. I mean, she was so fast. Everything was coming at her so fast. And now you see her continued development. Her ability to elevate her game, her ability to elevate those around her. I mean, that resume, she checked every box. A lot of people want to go from starting in this league, like as a rookie, to winning championships and winning MVPs and winning all these things. And she took every single step and has accomplished every single thing. And that's really a credit to her work ethic and her desire to become elite.
Believe them.
Alexa Ross, CBS 4, Fox 59. Natasha, being able to walk back in this room, see all of these people, you say that they sold you. What are you the most looking forward to of all of the things that they sold you in those conversations through free agency?
Just playing with my teammates, just getting to know my teammates on and off the court. Because that's one thing I actually want to know is my teammates first, and then know them on the court as well. But just really excited to also play with Kaylin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, like the player that that I also say stuff on the court to them when I'm like playing against them. So, but I'm happy that I'm playing with them, not against them no more.
Brad Brown from WRTV. Natasha, you won the Most Improved Player award about halfway through your pro career. Where do you feel like your game has evolved the most over the course of this decade?
Grown a lot. Like Steph said, I feel like I'm one of the elite players in the league, and I'm gonna stand on that and keep growing and keep development as a person and as a player. To when I retire, I could be in the Hall of Fame.
Like it. We'll go Reggie, and then I believe Chloe, you had your hand up as well.
Reggie Edwards, Indy Sports Daily. This is a question for Kelly and Amber. This is a very different looking team than what we had last season. There's a couple familiar faces, a couple core players coming back, but there's been a lot of changes with the team, everything from the front office down to the players and the coaching staff this season. What were a couple of the focal points that you were looking for as far as the changes that you guys made this offseason?
Well, I mean, I think first and foremost is create some consistency and a style of play of how we want to play. I mean, I think it's no secret we have a point guard who, when you can build around a point guard that can make other players better and can get people the ball in places on the floor, that's a great way to start. And I think, a style of play, Stephanie, the three of us talked quite a bit about, how do you want to play, how do we want to build this roster. But I think, initially it did start with every one of these players has a high level of character and integrity. I'm just a real proponent of when talent, shots don't fall, so what do you fall back on? Your culture. You fall back on what kind of person you are, you digging in, those types of things. And those are elements that each player that we have handpicked to be a part of this roster have that. And the young group that we're bringing back, asked us, protect our locker room, protect the culture that we've got started. So that was very intentional. And so, Natasha, knowing her when she was a young player, and then watching how, when you go to other teams and you help other teams win championships, that's really something special. And I think, everywhere she's gone, she's won. She's a winner. Natasha Howard is a winner. And to have her here, not only as a winner, but as a winning person too, and in our locker room. So those were the kinds of discussions when we talk about players.
Amber, did you have anything to add? No.
Kelly said it all.
All right.
Nailed it.
Chloe, go ahead.
Chloe Peterson, Indy Star. Natasha, you talked in your W-Slam piece about wanting another ring. Just what excites you about this Fever team to potentially make a deep run into the playoffs and get another championship?
We have the talent, but first of all, we have the people to actually do it. So my thing is, I'm happy, like I said, to be a part of this, and also bring the leadership and the desire to, to show this young group what it takes to win a championship. I have 3, so my thing is to show them you can't take no days off in practice. You got to think, when you practice, it's the way how you play. So my thing is coming in, I'm just going to show them this is how you work hard. So when you work hard, it's going to be easy in the game. It won't be as hard. So my thing is just bringing that championship mentality to the locker room and to this team, and just guiding this team.
We're going to go to the Zoom for a question here. Keem, you should be able to talk now. No? All right. If you want to send it over via the Q&A option, you can do that. All right, we'll go back to the room. Got Scott. Scott, another question? To left.
Kelly, overwhelming theme in all of this of all the players is familiarity, whether it's the coaching staff has been with DeWan or Natasha, etc. What does that familiarity do as you guys look to really take off and be the rocket fuel to what's next?
I think part of that is trust. You can't have success if you don't trust each other. And, between Stephanie and I've known Amber a long time, we've talked about this before, and there's a trust in how we believe in each other. Natasha trusted us, she trusted Amber. Those relationships matter, and I think if I've been doing this a long time, and, you build relationships and it all comes back around. It's this full circle moment for Natasha, for us. For me to have her back here. So, those are things when you know that you've met somebody, maybe it's a player or a coach or somebody on your staff, you think, if I ever have a chance to work with that person, we're going to do big things. And I think that familiarity is something that really sets you up for success.
Back to Alexa.
Coach, getting proven winners and people that you've worked with before, bringing them in with women you've been getting to know this off season, how do you hope that this all kind of comes together as a coach, and how do you hope that these older players can kind of bring the things that they've already done, those resumes into the building?
Well, it's exciting. I mean, our coaching staff, talks about it all the time, whether we're sending each other emojis or whether we're having, full-on conversations about how we want to play. I think the biggest thing is there's no substitute for experience. We sat here in November and talked about that. And we've got players and are getting players through free agency who have experience. And we're not going to sacrifice the culture that we have and that we're going to continue to build, because that's consistency. And with consistency, you have opportunity to win multiple championships, right? And I think when you bring high character people who understand what it means to work hard, who understand, like Tosh said, you can't take days off. Everything you do matters. And when you're young, you figure that out, right? She didn't come into this league knowing that, right? You learn that. And when you have great vets in front of you that you can take from every day, whether it's just observing or whether it's listening, and we have young, hungry players that want to be led, that want to know what it takes. They want the secret sauce, right? And I think that as coaches, we can't ask for a better script. And then it's our job to put them on the floor in ways that allow us to be successful. And that's an exciting thing, for our coaching staff. And so we're just thrilled with where we are and can't wait for the opportunity to get on the floor.
In the back?
Natasha, this is for you. I know you sort of already mentioned how exciting it is going to be playing with Aaliyah, Kelsey, Caitlin. Caitlin in particular, what did you see from her game during her rookie year, and just what's an excitement level playing with someone like that who has just changed the whole landscape?
She can spread the floor by shooting. She could dictate the floor as a point guard. She's an amazing passer, so I can't wait to run the floor and get those passes. Like she just grown just this past season, just like how she take the game day by day, and also just learning from other players and stuff. So I'm just really excited to be a part of this team and also ready to catch her passes.
Any other questions in the room? All right, we're gonna try online one more time. Actually, we got two online. We'll go try it back to with Akeem here. Akeem, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We're good.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Akeem with BeyondTheW.com. Congrats on the return to Indy. Just wanted to one for Natasha. Just wanted to ask, and forgive me if somebody had already asked this a little bit earlier because I was having audio problems. But what would you say, with the return, with your return to Indianapolis, what would you say is, as a player and as a person, is the biggest difference between, your first stint with the Fever and today starting your latest stint as a seasoned veteran?
First coming to Indiana, everything was different, learning as a rookie. Everything was getting thrown at me left and right, but I was glad that I gathered all the information and took it. But this time around, like everything just changed. The locker room. It's just completely different when I was here 10 years ago. But I'm happy to be a part of what they have going on this year, this time around. Just blessed and honored to be back where I started, like I said. And I just can't wait to get things started.
We're gonna go to Willie Ramirez on the Zoom.
Thank you. Hi, Natasha. Tomorrow is National Girls and Women in Sports Day. I'm working on a piece for WGRamirez.com. I've spoken to a couple players, athletes Unlimited and Unrivaled. From when you started to where we're at now, the evolution of women's hoops, the pride that you take stepping on the court and thinking about just where women's sports as a whole, but in particular basketball, on a day like tomorrow where there are young girls and boys, for that matter, just looking up to you ladies, professional athletes.
This is the reason why we play the sport, to be role models for girls and young boys, because a lot of kids don't have role models out here. So I'm happy that I have the opportunity, this platform, to be a role model to young boys and young girls out here, because you see a lot of boys and girls that don't want to play sports because they don't have a role model to look up to. So with my platform, this is what I want to do. This is the reason why I play the game. This is the reason why I love the game and want to give it to the next generation.